you to trust me.
Oh, Geronimo!
I know when your birthday is.
That's actually pretty close. That's actually pretty fucking close.
That's really creepy.
I'm going home. Mom, this amusement park's weird. I want to go home. Oh no. Oh gosh.
We're rocking with the Fable review today.
Oh yeah.
Moral relativism. Did I say that right? Relativism?
Relativism, yes. Yeah.
Okay,
And Seth, there's this YouTuber, Seth Zintak. He is someone who has been put on our radar here in the last 6 months or so, and his videos range from like hilarious to like psychologically disturbing. Like 1 minute you'll be laughing your ass off at a joke that he did, but then the next thing you know, boom, just all of a sudden you're just like, oh God, how did we get here?
Like he went there.
Like what happened? What's going on? It's like, Mom, I want to go home. This park's weird.
Feeling two ways right now.
Oh yeah.
I'm just playing.
But yeah, and we also got Asher down here.
Asher is with us, y'all. So
Yeah,
if you see me swatting away, that's
he's right here in front of us right now. He'll calm down and he'll like pop a seat right in front of us and just have a good lie down. Yeah, we try to have him on the couch as much as possible, but unfortunately, he can cause a disturbance, and by a disturbance I mean he will drop a carpet bomb and make all of us run off. We can't have you doing that, buddy. We love you.
Hey, Asher.
We love you, Ashy.
I got my J's on, dog.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't, but that doesn't matter.
No. But overall, yeah, Seth has been someone who we have really enjoyed his content, and I
like Fable, man.
Oh yeah, you played Fable?
Oh yeah, played both of them, Fable 1 and 2.
Yeah, we don't talk about Fable 3.
No, we definitely don't. That shit was trash.
Yeah, we don't talk about Fable 3.
God, they ruined it.
Yeah, I know, right? It's almost like it's almost like you had great expectations, you built on those great expectations with the second one, and then you burned the house down with the third one.
Burn it down altogether. It's like
what up?
It's like having a life no will, dude. There was no will for Fable, dude. Nobody got any inheritance from that.
Nope.
We just had to watch it.
But we're going to go ahead and hop into this. Let's see what Seth has to say. Also, another thing about Seth as well, breakneck pace. I'm talking like blink and you'll miss it.
Word, okay.
So just be prepared for
locked
that.
in.
Yeah, but anyway, here we go.
Hey people, Seth here. Today, I'll be covering an old childhood classic, a game that taught me that outside the safety of cities and towns, the entire natural world wants us dead, and you can't walk 5 meters without being mauled, stung, or assaulted by wildlife. That money can buy happiness, reverses aging, and helps everyone forget that you butchered an entire village 5 minutes ago, and that divorcing your wife is objectively worse than murder. I'm speaking of course, about Fable, but not just Fable. Fable, The Lost Chapters, and Fable Anniversary, because they're all the same game, but Lionhead Studios needed 3 times the money.
Yeah, and again, Peter Molyneux, the fact that that dude is still developing games is baffling to me. It's
shame.
like, yeah, it's like, why? It's like, look, I get it, Peter. You had lofty expectations, but you ruined those expectations with Fable 3. You basically just burned the house down.
Released in 2004, Fable was the game that justified buying an Xbox
It really
Classic.
was.
I know this because I owned an Xbox Classic.
Like we do right there.
Fact.
Also, it justifies owning a 360 because of backwards compatibility.
Yes, sir.
Because it is backwards compatible.
Actually,
I
I actually played it first on the 360. I was a PS2 guy, but
oh well, that's fair. That's more than fair. And I have basically every system down here. The Iron Odin came in. That emulation machine that can do everything from NES up to PlayStation 2. Oh, I can't wait, dude. I'm gonna be doing an unboxing of that, and I can't wait for y'all to see it.
Definitely check that shit.
Oh hell yeah. Anyway,
It had about 3 games on it, and one of those was Enter the Matrix, which still haunts me to this very day. But I digress. Anyway, Fable is a game about an experience all of us can relate to. Having your parents killed and your village burnt to the ground, only to be saved by an influential pedophile and forced into a life of indentured servitude. And after years of emotional and physical abuse, you're released into the great wide world with the expectation that you won't become a brooding menace to society. You're conditioned like an animal to follow the action-reward psychology of being a hero. The dopamine release of completing quests is all that drives your addiction for fame and relevance. Peter Molyneux is a liar, but he's also a genius, because throughout the game you're forced to make choices. Not reasonable choices, not thoughtful choices, but picking between the 2 extremes of morality, good or evil. Here is a typical moral dilemma as presented by Peter Molyneux. As you walk along the road, you encounter a homeless man being bullied by a delinquent teenager. The good option, scare off a bully. The evil option, beat that homeless man within an inch of his life and crack his rib cage open like a coconut crab. Both options give you the same amount of alignment points. It's insane, it's nonsensical, and I absolutely love it. There's not much to say about the story. You go do quests and uncover the fact that some of your family isn't dead, so you reunite with them, only to have them all die except your sister, who I always spare because she's pretty damn hot. So you kill the big bad guy that's been making your life miserable, and Fable 1 ends there because they ran out of time. Then you have to kill the big bad guy's persona avatar in the Lost Chapters, which is an expansion featuring a completely new area with reskins of all the monsters you fought before, and some extra content that was cut from the original. You can redo all this in the Anniversary Edition, which is a high-definition remaster of Lost Chapters, with extra bloom and gloom to drain out the color. While colors are faded, the characters aren't, and all the new models look great, including Lady Grey, the only good romance option in the entire game. If you're
I wonder why. Right. You think it's her glowing personality, or those 2 airbags she's got up front?
Not familiar, Lady Grey is the sultry mayor of Bowerstone North. She's also a crazy racist bitch that gets turned on by seeing black people die in front of her. Unlike Lost.
Wow.
That was deep.
That's deep, yeah. Like I said, you go from laughing or it being funny to just like,
wow, okay, sweet.
Yeah. Pure juxtaposition.
Chapters Anniversary has built-in controller support for the PC. Anniversary Edition also has limited modding support, which is completely broken and unusable. However, this didn't stop one man, whose autism was more powerful than we could have ever imagined.
Hello.
Mr. Defini used his modding talents to replace every wasp in the game with Shrek.
Oh my god. That is also
including the Queen.
Get back to here.
Donkey.
Bless Australia. Fable is very simple. It's also very easy. I would actually be very impressed if you somehow managed to lose the game, because you can't actually die as long as you're digesting food. Turns out it's not a question of how strong you are. It's a question of how many apples you brought. You start as a child apprentice at the Heroes Guild, but after a few tutorials, everything fast forwards until you're a fully grown adult. Before that, you'll have to tolerate living with Whisper.
It's time to wake up. Get out of bed, lazy bones.
Doing unpaid labor for the guild.
Well done,
yeah, he did.
The Beatles are all dead.
And holding back tears while doing favors for the guildmaster.
Just keep going till I tell you to stop. Ah, now that's more like it.
Get used to the weight of this sword. I think you've earned yourself some pocket money for that.
Then you can finally go out into the great wide world of Albion. You can tell this place was inspired by Britain, as all the peasants speak like they're inbred. They also have one of those characteristic British smiles. Lionhead Studios hates the working class, so they've made every effort to make you hate them as much as possible. You can interact with them, use emotes, and even marry them. I learned very early in life that the only 2 ways to get out of marriage is through domestic violence or becoming a widow. As a hero, you take quests from the guild. So
yes, my wife died in a tragic hunting accident.
She was right in front of my deer.
Yeah.
I just didn't see her.
Yeah. It was just so difficult.
Sorry.
It's like all of a sudden it's like, oh God, darling,
I was.
oh, hey Vega, got the fat cat's down here with us. There he is. Vega. There he is.
Some are optional,
Eli, who are you?
some are essential for progressing the story. They're quite straightforward. Occasionally, Whisper will show up to annoy you even more and
Whisper.
steal your experience points because her skill set is designed for kill stealing and contributing absolutely nothing to a team fight. The skill points
Yes.
you did manage to save from Whisper's firebombs and flips can be spent at the guild on upgrading your hero. As you level up your abilities, your hero will also physically change, growing taller and more muscular. This game is living proof that there is
Basically
no
become
excuse
Giga
for
Chad.
being a manlet. So hit the gym and squat your
There you
way
go.
into becoming 7 feet tall. There are downsides to upgrading your abilities, as each point spent makes you physically older, developing wrinkles, memory loss, and once you hit the age of 65, forces you to spend about 20,000 gold on a hip replacement. You can choose not to do this, but you'll have to keep taking morphine shots to numb the pain for the rest of the game. There are proven ways to reverse aging, of course, like sacrificing your wife to the dark gods.
Pathetic contribution.
Interestingly,
Sounds like
this
Claw
is
from
still
Inspector
slightly
Gadget.
less evil than divorcing her. There's a lot of skills to choose from, but like men, skills aren't made equally. Magic restores very slowly, so you'll be forced to chug down mana potions if you plan on using spells. The one upside of being a mage is that you can still use emotes while spellcasting, so you can keep thrusting away as you electrocute your
Thrusting,
enemies
thrusting,
to death. Others
thrusting,
are completely
thrusting.
broken. Assassin
Thrusting
Rush
to
lets you
victory.
blink behind enemies and abuse the AI. Fun fact, Assassin's Rush can sometimes glitch into the terrain when combined with Summon. Please don't use this in the Chamber of Fate, or you might accidentally glitch your way under the floorboards and obtain the Sword of Aeons 30 minutes after starting the game. Multi-strike allows you to
30
completely
minutes
ignore the
after
combat
that.
system since it can't be blocked and has no cooldown, and Time Stop lets you run through about 80% of the game without even lifting a finger. There's a lot more skills out there, but they're far too balanced to be worth talking about. Except heal. Heal is absolutely vital when your character gets too muscular, as your fists might unintentionally kill your wife. Use heal between beatings to keep her healthy, and to get rid of any bruising that might be used as evidence against you in a court of law.
Wow.
Quests typically
This guy's
award you a
crazy.
lot of gold. Most
that's
players
Seth
will
for you,
spend this
man.
on improving their gear or buying new weapons. Real gamers spend it all on playing blackjack and buying yourself an appropriate title so you don't go insane from listening to the villagers. Based on old save files I found from when I was 12 years old, I can tell you with high certainty that the most popular titles everyone picked were Assassin, Necromancer, and Reaper. We were really
Wow.
edgy kids back then.
You were primo edgelord, Seth.
Facts.
Like imagine, okay, I'd be scared to go back and look at some of my old save files from like my memory cards back in the day of just like some of the edgelord characters I came up with in like friggin' No Mercy or SmackDown, and it's just like what's the character's name? Tank. That's yeah, the level of imagination there. Yeah.
Shoot for the stars.
In between quests, you can go and wander around town, trade, and get constantly mocked by older heroes who are past their prime.
He can't entrust important quests to novices like you.
What?
I see they're letting the children out of the guild early these days. Now, move aside, will you? I don't need you crowding me too. Can you move away now? You're getting in the way of my fans. I hear you can make a decent living out of fishing. Or maybe begging's more your style.
As if that wasn't bad
Wow.
enough, the guildmaster will constantly Skype call you for your guild seal, giving you great advice when you need it the most.
Your health is low. You have any potions or food? Try to get your combat multiplier even higher.
Don't worry, you get a chance to kill them all later.
It's time I showed the world who the real hero is.
Well, I'm rather fond of my soul. I'm not giving it up without a fight.
Hey.
Yeah.
There's a lot of activities outside town, including side quests, puzzles, and fishing. However, fishing is a good way to catch carpal tunnel, as it involves rapidly mashing left click on the PC. So, to avoid this, I turn on my auto clicker. I set it to a 1 millisecond delay time, so I can catch the fish instantly. Modern problems require modern solutions. You can customize your hero however you like. Different haircuts, facial hair, tattoos, and clothing will provoke different responses from the townspeople. Some of these might not make sense, so you should always ask yourself, what would a British woman find attractive? And go from there. The last chapters lets you own a brothel as well, which you couldn't in the base game. Lost Chapters is better in every way compared to the original. It's beautiful, it's got a lot to do, and it's absolutely busted with the ways you can abuse the system. Peasants lack any kind of business sense, and will happily sell you all of their stock. Then they begin panicking from the lack of supplies and offer to buy it all back at greatly inflated prices to end the shortage. You can do this infinitely and ruin the economy. Another scheme I used to run was being good and extremely famous. So peasants...
It's like, oh, that economy? I'm gonna ruin that.
Fuck that shit up right now.
Also, I'm seeing here his YMCA.
Wow.
Damn,
this
Seth.
guy here, boy.
Would never question why I need to lead them to a secluded spot in the woods. Once there, they'd all die of mysterious circumstances. When this happens, the family would have to sell the house in order to pay for funeral expenses.
Right.
I would immediately snatch up the property and rent it out. I then repeat this for every property in town. Days later, the town is repopulated by the descendants of all those unfortunate peasants, who are forced to pay rent to me, their benevolent landlord, for all eternity, unaware of the fact that I may have had a role in their parents' demise. Fable. It's ridiculous, it's entertaining, and it's probably one of the most interesting games ever made by Peter Molyneux. If you haven't already, then I sincerely recommend you give it a try. And if you have, well, I'm just feeding off your nostalgia. This time, The Lord of Lies gets my vote, and I give it a 6 out of 6, which is the number of simultaneous wives you can have in every village, provided none of them ever find out. Personally, I look down on polygamy, so if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go hold hands with my husband. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. Probably much more autistic content, so be warned. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one.
He's good though. You gotta watch one of these like 2 or 3 times. I feel to catch everything.
Well, again, that's the craziness of Seth's videos. Is just you can do so. You could just sit there and watch, and eventually just be like, "All right, I think I got everything." Then you go back and watch again, and be like, "I completely missed that."
Completely missed that.
Yeah.
No,
oh my gosh.
No.
Oh, there's a silly doggo right there, right next to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoa.
Go ahead and lay down, Asher. Lay down, buddy. Oh, actually, I know why he won't lay down. Because his seat's taken. Hey, Asher. Come here, buddy. Come here.
Oh, snap.
There
He's
you go,
like,
buddy.
yeah, you know what it is.
Yeah, there you go, buddy. Oh. Stay there. Look at it. Gotcha.
You like it over there, Asher?
I think he does. Well, I got him enticed, but now he'll see the place is cleared out, and he'll be like, "All right, I'm gonna go lay back down." Oh, we love you, Asher. Look at that boy.
Look at you, big Asher.
Big lummus.
Solid as a rock.
He is. He's thick. He's as thick as a bowl of oatmeal.
Shit, about 3 hours.
Gosh. Well, anyway. So yeah, that was the Fable review, Moral Relativism edition, by the one and only Seth Zintak.
An odd review nonetheless, but I liked it. Definitely some low blows up in that mug.
Of course. Well, it's Seth. I mean, Seth.
Some Chinas.
Seth prides himself on low blows, not only against the game and various things about it, but also himself.
Oh, fat.
He's like, and of course, I would say that would be an advantage, but my crippling cocaine addiction will say otherwise.
It's honest fun, right?
Yeah, it is. And again, it's just him making fun of a game that he likes. And I think that's the important thing. He likes this game.
Yeah, I think that's what's cool too.
Yeah, he likes this game and he really wants like people to play it.
6 out of 6.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
That reminds me of the X-Play. We give this game a 5 out of 5. I miss those days, man. I miss the simple
Adam
days.
Sessler's went off the deep end, bro.
I know,
that's a whole nother,
man.
That's a whole nother story.
I can't believe that, man. Because again, he was one of my favorites for the longest time.
Remember
him and
extended
Webb.
play before X Play?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and they usually shot it inside of an arcade.
Yeah,
they were doing like with games going on behind them and everything. But anyway, I think
what we
that's
got
good.
here?
Well, that's gonna do it for